Welcome to the dark side of Degrees of Shining. My name is Darth Svadeni, and I am of the Sith. And if you'd like to see how I created this Star Wars inspired look, stay tuned. Okay, so to get the look started, I went ahead and washed my face. I moisturized with Max Oil Control Moisturizer Lotion, and then I did put on a coat of Monistat's the powder gel. I did this all over my whole face, over my eyebrows, all along my neck and down onto my chest a little bit because the makeup's going to extend that far and I really want it to last. That's inexpensive. I don't use the more expensive primer that I use when I go clubbing because I would go through it too quickly. So that's inexpensive and you get a good amount and you can use it liberally for. And so now I'm going to start with the horns, and I have a set. These are Woochie from Cinema Secrets. You can see they're little horns. Take a horn and I'm going to use Spirit Gum. This is Mehron Spirit Gum, but of course Ben Nye and Krylon and all the theatrical makeup companies have Spirit Gum, and I put a whole bunch on the edges all around. These are reusable. You can wash Spirit Gum right on my face, right where I want the horn to go. Kind of get that on there and get it really good and sticky, tacky. So that's where horn number one's going to go. And then I'm going to take my horn. It gets good and sticky. You can kind of touch it, kind of make it tacky by, you can hear it kind of sticking. And then after a bit, it'll just kind of stay right on. Okay, so horns are stuck on. They're pretty much in place and good to go. And I went ahead and painted my nails black. And now I'm going to work on my skin. I'm doing a red tone skin color. That's going to be the base for the look before I go in and start doing all of the detail look in black. And I'm just going to use my Mehron Paradise makeup. I actually have a huge palette, but I also have a couple smaller ones. So I'm just going to take the red out of this one and then the red out of this one. One's a little bit darker than the other. They are both water activated, so I just take a spray bottle and spray on the palette, and then I'm going to use a sponge and dip and then just spread this all over and layer it on. And essentially, once this goes on, it is very long wearing and it stays in place once it dries, but it will wash off with soap and water. Now, with red makeup, another reason why I put that primer down is because I'm afraid it's going to stain my skin. So if I go to work tomorrow all red, we will know why. But I'm going to get all along here, my entire face, down onto my neck, and a little bit down onto my chest, since that's going to be exposed for this look. You have to layer it when it's water-based, and then eventually you'll end up patting on a lot of it to get it to deepen and darken and then stay in place. I had a little bit more difficulty down on my chest, so you'll have to be careful with that if you do use a water-based makeup. It might be easier to use something like Mehron's FX or something that's already liquid. So now we're going to start working with black, and in the look, the eyes are pretty much blacked out. So I'm going to use, to start, a paint pot. This is Black Ground from MAC. I didn't put any primer on or anything. I'm just going to go ahead and use this. I'm just going to lay it all over my lid, right up over my brows. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going in with a black eyeliner pencil. You can use any eyeliner. I'm using something that's kind of soft. This is a Rimmel pencil, just flat matte black. And I'm drawing in detailed design. Now, I'm not going to do anything exact to like Darth Maul or Darth Sidious or whatever. I'm just going to create something similar in look, and the trick is to just make sure everything is symmetrical. And so if I start in the middle here, like there's a diamond-shaped, triangle shape that comes from the middle of the forehead down, and then of course I could draw a line in the middle. And what I'll do is go ahead and sketch out a lot of this. I made a little bit of progress with some design. I'm just still creating some outlines and some shapes that I'll fill with black around the eyes, down the nose here, a little bit around the nose, and then above the lips. And it's a little time consuming, so make sure you give yourself enough time to enjoy the process. And of course, I'm just creating an abstract design that suits kind of the layout or the mapping of my face. Sketched on, I kind of went a little crazy. And now I'm going to start filling in. Again, I'm just spraying my Mehron palette. I have a black that comes out really nice. And again, this is really nice long-wearing theatrical makeup. And it's water activated, and then you just let it dry and it stays in place, and then it washes off. You can see I made a crazy amount of progress Painted all of the tribal design that I created right down along my neck, and then right down to my chest, across here. If I was wearing something a little bit more revealing, I'd probably do even more. And I love it so far. So what I'm going to do now is set the cream color that's over my eyes. This is the area that's going to tend to crease if you're wearing your makeup for a long time. And I'm just going to take a black eyeshadow. This is the black that's in my Mineralize Hot Contrast Duo, but you can use any black, matte black. And what I'm going to do is just lay this all over with a fluffy brush all over my eyelid, right down underneath as well. And this will help set that cream makeup. If I was actually going to wear this out, I would set the whole look with some setting powder. You could use Mehron's, which is what I have in my collection, Mehron setting powder, but you could probably use something like MAC's Prep and Prime finishing powder or Makeup Forever's HD powder. All of those are designed to set makeup and help it last long. Okay, the next thing I need to do is finish up my lips because there's one more little stripe of black that goes in the middle here, but I want to finish this red. I did not fill it in completely while I was doing the tutorial because I wanted to be able to talk with you without it getting too messy and funky looking. So I'm just going to take the same reds from my Mehron palette. I've dampened one already, and I'm just going to take a paintbrush again, and you'll see it'll brighten this area up. And funny enough, while I was painting my lips red, I decided to go back in and just play a little bit more in the red areas that I've created. So now I'm using the darker red in one of my smaller Mehron palettes, and I'm just kind of creating darker highlights in the design that I painted on. I don't know why, I just decided to do this. So if you wanted to do this, you could do this as well. I think it's just going to create a little depth to the pattern and the face. And there you have it. I have completed the look. I went ahead and threw a hood over the top. I did finish my hands, just to remind you, once you use this kind of makeup, you don't want to wash them, you don't want to get them wet, and you don't want to touch anything light colored or white because it will smear off and stain. The character name that the blonde boy came up with is Darth Svadeni, which is Czech for seduction. I think that's a pretty cool name for a Sith. I'll take the hood back so you can see. So just a red skin tone, red skin, with a super tribal looking design similar to something that you would see on a Sith. Right down onto the neck and onto the chest, so if I was wearing something more revealing, you could see more of the tattooing on the chest and then along the neck. This is the tricky part. If you are going out, make sure you have somebody double check to make sure that you've covered entirely where you've painted, and make sure there's no areas that you've left unpainted or any of your regular skin showing. And this is just a pashmina, just a black throw that I had. You could create a hood or buy a hood, you know, from a costume shop or whatever. And so welcome to the dark side. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks as always for stopping by. I so do appreciate it. Lots of fun. Leave your feedback. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys real soon. Aw, but before we had to say goodbye, Putty wanted to say hi. She's been whining at me. She thinks I look funky with my horns. Meow, 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 meow. See you soon. Boy, it's hotter than Hades. Ugh. Yeah, the Sith even likes Starbucks. It's too hot. Perfect. Iced coffee in the summer. Ugh.